What's going on, guys? So it's Monday. Usually our Mondays are good. They're pleasant. I enjoy being at work, so it's not like I don't like Mondays. But today's a little bit different. Normally when we get a car dropped off or a project dropped off, we get a little bit of a rundown, what we're doing to it. We ask the customer, hey, is there anything wrong with it? Some customers drop off cars with no hoods. We just like to be informed. This car came in for a trans issue, and the customer mentioned that the sunroof was leaking a little bit. It cracked, it's something, hairline crack, I believe it was, or something like that. Well, not only is the car missing the sunroof, it looks like it's been missing it for about 3 months. There was puddles in water. There was the puddles of water that were in here last week were worse than it is today. We let it dry out a little bit. I started vacuuming it out a little bit. You see some stuff. What you can't see in this video is and of course you can't see a smell. The smell that this car has is it's horrible. I have to stop almost every 5 minutes, and it's kind of playing the hold your breath game. Not only that, came in with no steering wheel, came in with no seats, and the tire is beyond flat, and the rear brakes are seized up completely because it's been sitting. As I was saying, we understand projects are projects. That's why we like to be informed, though. We like to have an idea before it gets dropped off. Hey, does the car roll? Does the car have seats? Does the car have a steering wheel? That makes it a little bit easier to put the car where it needs to be at, either inside the shop, or if it's outside the shop, closer to the shop door. That's what I'm dealing with today. Got a car up on the dyno. I'll jet back inside, get some video footage of that. We'll keep it rolling. So we're doing a little brake job on this Civic. Pads and rotors all the way around. And the customer has informed us that he believes one of the calipers is hanging up, so we're doing that as well. A lot of people do not know that we do maintenance here. No matter how fun, or I should say, no matter how not fun it is, or how, what's the word? Either way, we do it. We don't document a lot of it because it's not fun to watch. It's a pain in the butt sometimes, to say the least. But yeah, so this one is getting all brand new Honda OEM parts. We also deal with OEM parts for pretty much any make and model. So if you prefer OEM parts, we have that option. Of course, OEM parts are usually a tad bit more money, but the quality you cannot beat. We have all the parts here from Honda. So those will be going on. And we'll see if it's just one caliper that's seized or all of them. Just another maintenance job. So I'm sitting inside this EG in between dyno runs over here, and this car's running a chipped ECU. So a lot of people don't understand how we tune on a chipped ECU, and I have done videos before like this, but I'll explain it again because I'm inside this car. So that's his chipped ECU, and currently it is running on our computer that has a wire going from it that gives us all live data that feeds into our laptop. And then what we do is, after we're done tuning it, I will save the file, burn the chip, and then put the chip in your computer so you have the dyno tune file, and your car has been dyno tuned and is running a chipped ECU. That's how simple it is. I will hop out, I'll get a video of a pull, and I don't know how loud it is, but it's loud inside the shop, so hopefully the audio sounds good. And not only is everything going on over here, everything's going on in my mind, of course. That's ultimately, too, why people are just not allowed to hang out and chill out in the back. Number one, of course, it's a work area. We don't want anybody getting hurt. Number two, though, it's concentration. A lot of the times, especially if you're local and you see me walking around the shop, a lot of the times you'll see me with my headphones on. This or, the radio type headphones. It helps me think. It helps me concentrate. During a pull, I'll take off one ear, have it over my head so I can hear what the motor's doing, hear if anything abnormal happens. So a lot of stuff goes on during a tune. It's just not press the button and hope for the best. And this is also why on bigger cars, or I'll say every car I treat pretty much the same. The first pull on the dyno is not a full wide open throttle pull to redline with VTEC hitting in. Crossing your fingers, just hope that it is all good. Someone said it before, when I go live on Facebook, you crawl into the tune. This is why tunes also take a little bit. If you're getting a dyno tune and it's taking someone 30 minutes, probably just flashing on a tune that they already made and not really paying attention to the partial throttle stuff, everything pretty much. So as I tell people, a typical dyno tune will take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. Of course, it depends on the setup. Bigger setups need more time. But that's about it. Hopefully I shed a little bit of light on here. Like I said, this is usually, unless you do this for a living, it's a little bit of an area that doesn't get seen, doesn't get documented. But, a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully you found that intriguing. So I wanted to get a quick video because I've been talking about this for a little bit with customers. Some customers will ask about the whole dyno tuning process. And basically what you saw and what you see right now is the dyno controller. And the red light that is blinking is the brakes for the actual dyno, because you do not use the vehicle's brakes all when you're on the dyno. So this will actually engage and disengage the brake. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's basically it's like a semi-air brake. And then this one actually starts to run. So what you kind of saw in the video was I have to unrelease the brake, and then when I'm ready to do a run and record it, which is going to be when the car is wide open throttle, is what I'm trying to record and get a good reading on the dyno, I hit the green light. Then when the dyno run is over, I hit the green light again to stop the run, and then I hit the dyno brake, and I have to push the clutch in and put the car in neutral. This This car is not as rowdy, so I have more time to do stuff. But what you have to take in consideration is some of these cars that are making a good amount of power, all this happens, a dyno pull or a dyno run takes about maybe 4 to 5 seconds. So everything you see just has to be sped up. And a lot of it comes down to muscle memory. All the stuff that I'm doing here, I'm not just thinking about, it's just the natural reaction that I've been doing it for so long. From time to time, again, you'll see some guys that will have the controller mounted maybe somewhere or hanging from the mirror. It has a little clip on it right here. I like to have this like right on my hand in case anything were to happen. If a strap were to break, the car wants to go. I strap down a car with 4 straps in the front, 2 in the back. I see a lot of guys only do 2 straps in the front. If one of those straps wants to break and the car wants to kind of go to the side, it just all comes down to muscle memory, stopping a run and letting the car do what it wants to do. As I tell customers, if you are back here and anything were to happen, it might be your first instinct to, maybe grab the car or try to keep it from coming off the dyno, and you're not going to win. You can actually probably hurt yourself severely, if not kill yourself. So, a lot of stuff does go on during a pull. Not only that, I am looking at the air-fuel ratio on the dyno, and I'm looking at all my gauges that are actually in the program as well. Every program's a little bit different, but how people have it set up. This car is running on Neptune, and I have everything up here that I have to keep an eye on, keep track of. Right now the car is off, so I can set everything to go into a red mode or actually beep if it's in an area where it shouldn't. Which here's a prime example. If I wasn't paying attention, your engine coolant temperature sensor, engine coolant temp, 250 degrees. That's gonna let me know your car's overheating, of course. I actually have this set a little bit lower. 250, you're in trouble. I think I have mine set around 205 for it to actually kick on and warn me. Same with battery voltage. Battery voltage is a big thing when tuning a car. If the voltage drops below a certain level, it's going to affect the tune. So I have that to give me a warning. Same thing with intake air temps. And on some of these other programs, specifically Honda S300, we can incorporate inputs. So we will put oil pressure inside the actual program, and that can send off a warning too. So, a lot of stuff happens during a dyno pull. Small little work going on here. Got a customer dropped off the oil pan, and we are welding another bung. We've been doing a lot of bungs lately. Maybe it's a sign that turbo season, race season is almost here. So, customer made a mark. We're gonna drill it out for him. We got the bung inside there. He wanted to make sure that the mark was good too. Case in point, you don't want to have it by the bolt holes, so you can still get the bolts in. And you want it somewhat high enough where it's above the oil level, but still easy to weld all around. So he did a pretty good job cleaning it up inside for me. Get this cleaned out on the outside, drilled up, and go from there. So we're in this 8th gen Civic, and the car is off, and the RPMs are moving because we're doing a reflash on it. Car's getting picked up today, so we need to make sure that all the emission stuff is ready to go for him. He actually does need to pass emissions, so he will be taking it there. But one of the big things, like I said in the previous videos, that we see a lot of, guys will buy cars that already are modified, dyno tuned, or whatever, and they don't get the device that's included, and all the sensors are turned off for emissions. So car will never ever ever pass emissions if the sensors are turned off. There's no way around it. You know, people think you can disable them and that will magically make it pass emissions, but it will not. So that's the last thing we're doing. Clean the car out a little bit for him. His rear seats were out. I don't know why they were out before the car got here. We put them back in for him, no charge. Just something that we offered, so when he gets the car back, it's complete. Just another thing in between here. So we have, what is it, like a 97 Honda Civic up on the rack. Gonna do a full once-over on it. Car came in because the drain plug was completely rounded off. Go on the light and get some light, thank you, sir. Customer tried doing his oil, and yeah, he tried using his teeth. So luckily, as I drop it, luckily the threads weren't messed up. We got it off, not a big deal. We're doing an oil change for him. He's supplying the oil and the filter of his choice and his preference. We'll get this back up. We'll get it all buttoned up. And since the car is on the rack, we're going to do a whole once-over like I said. See if it needs anything. No charge on a once-over if it's in here for like an oil change. We noticed like the valve cover was leaking, so that will be noted. He was concerned about some of the rust underneath the car. You know, typical Honda rust. Seen worse, seen better. You know, comes with the territory, I guess you can say. Shaking down the suspension right now. And I'm sure you can hear that noise. That is most likely going to be tie rod. If you don't know how to shake down suspension, you grab the tire side by side. What is that, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock? That should give you a good idea if it's a tie rod. If you grab it by 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, usually that's a ball joint.
Upper and lower control arm. But that's
or upper and lower control arm. The other thing too, so you can see it. Hold on, there you go. You can see the tie rod moving in and out. The other thing too, you always want to make sure is the wheel bearing. You know, sometimes it helps if you have a buddy looking at the inside when you shake it. You can see the axle boot is ripped here, even though it is dark down here. The wheel bearing almost will have movement all around. So no matter where you grab the tire, you know, you got the wheel bearing right inside the actual knuckle itself. You can always double check too. We've seen it from time to time when guys do their own swaps. Sometimes the axle nut is left loose. That will kind of simulate a bad wheel bearing too. So that's what we got going on this morning. So we're driving to Firestone. We have a Firestone right down the street. We don't do alignments at our shop. This customer got a lot of work done as a courtesy. No extra charge. We're going to drive it to Firestone. They're going to align it. I should rephrase that. We don't charge to drive it down there and do this. Firestone does, of course, have a charge. They have two different options that we use. Either it's a lifetime alignment or it's just a one-time fee alignment. The lifetime alignment is nice, especially if you're making adjustments or suspension stuff. But yeah, just a little bit in between. Busy day. Gonna go drop this off and pick it up when it's all done. So I just finished with these two welds. It's always hard to get a good focus on a weld. One thing I wanted to point out, and this is on cast aluminum, and as the fan just kicked on here, extra loud. Cast aluminum, give me 1 second here. Cast aluminum, which you're going to see on oil pans and valve covers a lot. No matter how clean it looks, it's a dirty metal because of the process. If you're not familiar with how parts get made and cast, basically they take a bunch of aluminum, melt it, and then they'll actually pour it into a mold. So whenever you're welding cast aluminum, it could take anywhere from 2 to 3 welds where you have to weld it, have the contamination come to the surface, clean it up some more, weld it again, and depending on how the contamination is on the second part, you may have to clean it again. So, you know, every now and then some customers will want prices or quotes And when it comes to cast aluminum, it's usually not 100% straightforward. And another big thing that always plays a factor in pricing is how well prepped you bring me pipe or material. Um, you know, it's the whole, you have to eat off of it pretty much. And just because it looks clean or appears clean to you, you got to take acetone, wipe it down, and I showed you that with the one video prior to this. That's kind of what changes the price up too. But I figured I'd let people know on the cast aluminum. Same too if you're welding like a manifold, a cast iron manifold. They're not too fun to weld because you have to keep grinding down the weld and redo it and then do it again. On top of doing that too as well today, you can see I have it's actually a pipe from a PRL kit. Customer sent it in to us. Customers from New York. It's got a couple of areas where it was rubbing. As you're going to see in the video from last week, and how I mentioned this is a tight fitting kit. Well, there you go. There's one little rub through. He's got a couple other ones that we ground down to check out, make sure there wasn't any rub throughs. There's a little bit of a nick there. We'll throw a new weld on it, be done with that. Ultimately, he can repaint the pipe if he wants to. We're going to get this shipped back out to him and be done with that as well. So just a little work that all adds up pretty much. One of the biggest things when it comes to doing aluminum welding and any kind of welding is cleanliness. One of the things I can't stress enough is what I have in my hand is one of the TIG rods. And, when things look clean, well, you can't really tell by the human eye, but we have a paper towel with some acetone on it. And we're going to just squeeze the rod, throw your puns in there. Just literally drag the rod through the paper towel. And you can see, just because it looks clean doesn't mean it's clean. So this pipe is pretty much ready to be welded. I'm going to brush it off one more time with some acetone, clean the rest of my rod, and get the welding so this can be shipped back out to the customer. What's going on, guys? So I wanted to recap this video really quick. These videos are more so a little weekly segment, what goes on, daily here. What I'm going to start doing is a lot more how-to videos, getting more in depth on stuff to help you guys out. Those are going to be completely separate from these videos. Not everybody wants to hear me talk and just yap about what's going on daily or weekly here. I get that. The other thing is, if you're searching for something, on Google or on YouTube, you're not going to want to sort through a 30 to 45 minute video just to find that specific thing you're looking for. Case in point, this video is going to drop, and then I'm going to drop another video of what to look for when buying a used transmission. So hopefully you guys are enjoying all these videos. As always, like, subscribe, share it up. Info is down below. You can reach us on phone, email. You can comment down below. I'll get back to you guys as well. Hopefully you're having a good day.